What a surprise. Good Tuesday morning, the 30th of January, 2024. This is the David and Chuck show. I told you last night, and Chuck told you last night, we're back at this, and in 24 we're going to be big and bad and do and have a good time. So anyway, it is 7:44. We're 1 minute early from our projected start time, and we're going to use our morning times for sports updates on the things that we enjoy. But right now, we're going to use these mornings to talk about things that are that in the Tuscola network, the Tuscola Athletic Network. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about basketball. We're going to talk about wrestling. We're going to talk about weightlifting, the off-season program. Got a lot going on. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm well, and welcome to our special guest. He's got a long title now. Used to, I just said that's Austin. That's the little dude down on the sidelines carrying the balls, and one of the greatest pitchers you've ever seen. One day you need to bring in and show everybody. But when Jonathan scored a touchdown, and Austin was doing this thing in the end zone as the ball guy for the Mountaineers. Athletic director, defensive coordinator, a Mountaineer from top to bottom, inside and out. Good morning, Coach Chambers, Austin Chambers. Good morning to you, sir.
How's it going, guys? I appreciate y'all having me on this morning.
It's well. It's well here. It's not as bad, the weather. How's the weather down there in Winston, Chuck?
It's sunny and cold.
Yeah. That's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
You didn't know I knew that word, did you?
Can't be as cold as it was last week.
Yeah.
No.
It's sunny and cold. Next day or two, we're going to be highs in the 50s, and then after that, the highs will be low 40s.
Yeah, we're going to get up.
Low temperature.
Yeah, we're going to get up in some temperature today that's going to be good. But anyway, welcome, Austin. Can I call it? It's still hard for me, even like with Jonathan. I still just say, "Hey, dude, Jonathan," but I don't listen. I do not. A coach to me is to be revered, and so welcome, and let's kind of get going. But a lot has happened since April of last year.
Absolutely.
And a lot has happened. Let's talk about the football end of it first.
Well, I think, when Coach Crompton came in, I thought we had a great spring ball. And the kids just instantly took to him. He's great with the kids. When he came in, we had just pretty much finished the weight room. And everything was ordered. So Jonathan had been here for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then we got a brand new weight room that's, paid dividends for us. Big T Club, just our townspeople, they plugged in over $40,000 in that place, and there was probably already $30,000 in it. So, you got $75,000 of, great equipment in there for the kids, and it's safer. We got so much more room. We used to have 8 racks in a little room over there in the field house. You know what I'm talking about. And now we've got a whole side of a gym. We have 16 racks. And from a teacher standpoint, I was just so happy to get out of that room just because of safety. When you had 40 to 50 kids in that room, it wasn't ideal. And you know what? So much pressure is put on our football kids, our sport kids in general, that they deserve better than that. And that's what we wanted to do, was to, provide them a quality weight room, because in today's game, if you don't have a good weight program, you're going to get passed by. We hear coaches all the time about, how they get their kids motivated and this, that, and the other. And I'm fortunate to work in a school where we don't really have to prod our kids a whole lot. They come in here ready to work. I wish you guys could be here at 8:15 this morning. We got the whole football team in there. We got 65 kids in there, and they just come in there and they get after it every day, and they don't really whine. I mean, we do agilities, plyos, Olympic lifting, of course, our core lifts. I mean, we do a little bit of everything. So as far as the football side of it, since Jonathan's been here, it's been great. And we've had, and I think when football is elevated, I think that they elevate everything around them. And that's just, that's in any high school though. And I think the football team's doing that.
Coach,
Chuck?
What's different from April 1st, 2023 to this present day? Obviously, you're more locked in, but how are you better today than you were when you started, when Jonathan just got there?
Great question.
As far as just the football team or the school?
Both.
I would say with the football team, I think that I think Jonathan's offense in general is it's just so hard to plan against. I would know from experience. And that puts you in a different bracket when people are getting ready for you. I think it gives you an advantage when you have a system where you can have 3 or 4 plays at one time off of one call. I mean, that's hard to plan for. And I think Coach did a great job throughout the season. I think as a ball club, we got better and better. We had this lull in the middle of the season that just nothing was going right. We had 5 starters out with injuries. The defense was struggling on my end. I mean, there was a lot of things that were going on, but we peaked at the right time, and we got healthy at the right time. We had to start playing some guys both ways because we couldn't afford not to. I think when we made that line in the sand about halfway through the season, that's it. That's when it changed for us. I think since Coach has gotten here, I think there's just great morale. For me personally, just being such a Tuscola guy, I hated to see Tuscola go through what it went through there for a few months. That it hurt, just hurt as a Tuscola Mountaineer. So getting Jonathan was a breath of fresh air, number one, and having just a new admin. It was just just a changing of the guard, and it was a good. It just feels like a great time because we're all rowing in the right direction. So.
Very good.
What you just said. I got to the office early as usual, and I've really been on Jonathan about, look, man, all this stuff of yours is not mine, and get it the hell out of my house. And so this morning, really early, I took a picture up there of him and Lane Kiffin, and I said, "This is yours. It's not mine." But when I walked in there at 6:52, I believe, I was really on the whiteboard with your new coach, and it was full. They're right there at 6:52 a.m. and there is no off season. And because the one thing I will say about Jonathan, and Chuck kind of told me this in 2004 when he first met him, man, this dude's a gym rat, and I got to give him credit for that, because they're up there this morning just getting after it. So anyway,
well, here's the thing: when it comes to stuff like that, I'm not a big Nick Saban fan or anything like that. But I do like what he says, that it takes what it takes. And people don't understand the amount of film you got to watch, the amount of scheme you got to go over, and then try to get 11, 16, and 17-year-olds to do everything right at the exact same time every play. And it just people don't understand the hours that go into that. I mean, we meet up here for 4 or 5 hours on a Saturday, and then you'll come up here on a Sunday, and then you'll find a couple of us up here for 4 or 5 hours on a Sunday after church. So I know not every program's like that. And I understand, people have family lives and stuff like that, but it takes what it takes. And the kids deserve coaches that put in the time on the board, watching film. I just think that's just part of the job. So,
Coach, it seems to be all it's one high school sports coaching is the most, in my opinion, is the most difficult job, more difficult than college. And I think you highlighted on the fact you're trying to get 15, 16, 17, and a few 18-year-olds to be on the same page and execute what's in your brain, because you can't go out there. I remember you were the Tasmanian devil when you played. And, and it's hard to get kids on that page. So it's the hardest job. But with that said, I would like to know, you've got the program, the kids bought in, all in. When did the coaching staff become one, united? When Jonathan, how long did it take?
well, Coach kind of had a meeting with each one of us. And then he met with us all together, and he was to the point, this is how we need to do things. We need to be on the same page. Communication is key. There doesn't need to be any of this, especially in front of the kids. We're not always going to agree. We're not always going to think, this is what we should do during the game. But, we're all professional enough to handle things the right way. And I think that communication is key. And it kind of just natural. We all kind of just naturally get along, and naturally we've become friends over the past 8 or 9 months. So I think that's the big thing of it, is that we all respect each other professionally. But Coach was to the point that this is what we're going to do, this is what we're not going to do, this is how it's going to be. And I'll say this, and from experience, when you know who's driving the ship, it's easy to fall in line and do your job well. When you don't know who's driving the ship, that's when things can go off course, I guess.
Do the kids see that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, they know who's in charge. They know, and the kids. Yeah, I know you don't get this at every high school, but the kids, really respect their coaches here. I mean, of course, you're going to have one kid, every now and then, buck up on you a little bit, but that just happens. And, they're teenagers and they're kids. And, but in general, we don't really have that problem. Thank goodness. Because I know just hearing coaches at, other schools that they deal with either discipline problems all the time, whatever the case may be. And we're fortunate enough to not have a whole lot of that.
Well, one more question is, you had a really good career on the collegiate level as a linebacker, but you coached under what David and I think is one of, if not the best high school football coach in Donnie Kiefer.
Absolutely.
If we were to cut you open and check inside, is your experience and Kiefer and the experience of playing college kind of combination of what defines Coach Chambers?
Absolutely. Coach Kiefer, I never saw before. I mean, I met him when I was 15, 16 years old, but I'd never seen someone prepare like him. I'd never, there wasn't much of a weight room before that. So I learned so much in the weight room from him. I had two out of three of my college weightlifting coaches were very, very good, and I've kind of mixed all three. Coach Kiefer stuff, some of my guys from colleges, weight room stuff, and that's what we do here now. And Coach and I sat down and I said, look, these are the things we need to do in the weight room. I think he agreed. He'll specialize with some of the quarterback stuff just because of shoulders and stuff like that. But Coach Kiefer is, one of the best weightlifting coaches you'll see, and he prepares like nobody else. Now his practices aren't the funnest in the world, I can tell you that. But that's just. But all those hard practices paid off in my career here, thankfully. And I look back on those times, and I came through with some great coaches. I came through with some great guys. I was just fortunate to be here during that time.
Great.
Now, I hope that we're going to make this morning thing kind of a regular, because we're going to love having you on, and I think you deserve a chance for people to hear your voice. So, talk to us about the athletic program as the athletic director. What's happening right now? We got men's and women's basketball. We got wrestling. What all have we got going on on the hill right now?
So basketball is starting to kind of come to a close. It'll end around Valentine's Day. We got a game this Friday against East Henderson, and then we got senior night next Friday against Smoky Mountain.
So hold on. Let me stop you.
Okay.
It's senior night, correct?
Yes.
Next Friday.
Next Friday, yes.
Yeah. People get your fanny on the hill and honor these kids.
We've had really good gates. I know the varsity boys team has struggled, but they've been in some ball games and they play really hard. And the girls have won some conference games and they fight hard too. I feel like the way they played across town a couple weeks ago was the best I've seen them play in 4 or 5 years against them. I was very proud of them. JV boys got a win against them. That hadn't happened in a long time. I felt like Coach McCracken did well with wrestling. They ended up 11-11 overall. They ended up with a coin toss flip. They could have finished 4th, but they got the 5th spot in the conference. And I think in general, as an athletic department, we've seen dividends over the past few years just of more kids coming out for certain things. I feel like we're getting more kids to play more than one sport, because I know that was like a thing there for a while. People specializing and stuff like that. Now we're getting more kids playing multiple sports, and we have to. With the size of our school, you can't afford to specialize too much. I understand if you're Chipper Jones or something, but we need all the athletes we can get, and I feel like I think most of our boys basketball team or girls basketball team are wrestlers. They play 2 and 3 sports. And we've been fortunate enough to have great gates throughout the year. We've actually been able to allot from an athletic director standpoint. We allot teams a certain amount of funds and, every year, and we've been able to give more than we've ever been able to give because our town supports us so much. They come to the ball games, win or lose. They're not Tuscola fans, they can be hard sometimes, but as far as fair weather, they still come to the game. You know what I mean? And they still support the teams, and people don't realize how important that is to keep everything above float. It takes a lot of money to run a high school athletic program, and I honestly, guys, I don't know how some teams around the mountains do it. It's just some of the gates they have, and that's no knock on them. I'm patting our community on the back because, rain or shine, our people are there most of the time.
Coach Chambers, you're in your first year as athletic director, correct?
Yes, sir.
Take a step back. What has it been like? Has it been what you expected? Has it been better or worse? I mean, assess your first year as an AD and a coach.
Well, I'll say this. The position is difficult, no doubt, but I'm fortunate enough to have coaches in place that are very easy to get along with. The kids enjoy them for the most part. I mean, you can't please everybody. They got pretty good relationships with the community and parents, and that's a huge win. That keeps a lot of things off my desk. I think the hardest thing you got to deal with is that you've got to be available, kind of all the time, because there's always something, whether a pipe burst somewhere on a Sunday, at one of the fields, or a gate latch has accidentally been broken and you got to go fix it on the weekend, just stuff like that. You got to be willing to take, it's something you got to do. You got to put a lot of hats on, whether I'm driving the bus or I got to go fill in somewhere, or a coach got sick and I got to, step in somehow. It's just anybody that does this position knows that there's a lot of things you got to do, but if you have good people around you, it makes life easier.
Well, let me kind of change gears here for a second. Number one, before I do, is the comment that you see on the bottom.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yes.
That comes from the reigning national athletic director of the year in this country, in America. This is not Joe Schmo, and he's not going to say something that he shouldn't say. So that coming from Dr. Taylor is kind of a big deal. So congratulations. You guys need to understand that. That is not some little deal, is it, Chuck?
No, and you and I both take credit for him because he was once just selling computers in the aisleways at a mall or something like that.
He was a loser till he came and we guided his life. No, but anyway, one of the issues now here is where my issues have come in.
Okay.
Is I went to Irwin High School.
I know where you're getting.
Hey, you bet your butt you know where I'm going. I went to Irwin High School, and my teammates that from my thing are still my brothers. Okay,
as they should be.
A lot of and that's not a joke. I mean, we're like brothers, but a lot of these guys, they live in the community. So I've got every once in a while, I've got something red when I go play golf with my friends or do this. So Chuck, let me take my glasses off. So I show up at the school one day. They asked me to, again, I'm always bringing food to them. I think my job in this whole thing is just to, hey man, you're going to bring food. Awesome. So I take some food up there, and Jonathan had given me, and I didn't ask why, a red Nike pullover. So I didn't even think, and I walked in and I go, hey guys, I got to go. Here's the food. And Austin's on the couch. And I'm a grown man. I'm the same age as his daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally had to.
I got to do the pledge. So y'all keep talking.
Okay. No, we'll wait.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. I literally had to take that off in front of them because I could not have it on. So I bought Jonathan and Brian golf bags. And Jonathan's was as nice a golf bag as God ever made. It's one of those Sun Mountain, and it's red, white, and blue, the C130 Plus. I'm down here at the office one day, and Jonathan shows up with the golf bag. And he goes, I don't want this thing. I can't walk around with this trash. I said, what are you talking about? He goes into my little room over there and steals my golf bag because it's not red and leaves the other one here. So
that's right, man.
I can't wear red.
Can't wear red around here.
But I think the thing, all joking aside, is I don't want it to turn ultra serious, but what does it mean to you? And now, if for you, you're different. Let me hold on a second. What does this mean to you? And this is not a joke question.
Well, I think, one, I had no choice in life, really, because my whole family graduated from Tuscola. And when you're raised in my type of family who really takes it serious, my dad was in the same backfield as Pig Bryson.
What a great football player.
My dad, rushed for, he had 2 seasons here, over 1,000 yards. My brother, who's 7 years older than me, I was the baby of the family. He was a really good running back under Doug Brooks. I was the ball boy during those days, and even when Jonathan played. So when you're raised like me on my side of town, you can't help but to love Tuscola and really hate Pisgah. So it's just what it is.
It is what it is.
If I may, is that the man that cut my hair was this guy named Scotty Chambers. And one day, having a focus, I had, I like, if you give it to me, I'll wear it. And I had Tuscola gear and Pisgah gear. And I walked into my barbershop where there's three guys.
You had the wrong shirt on, didn't you?
I forgot what I was wearing. Suddenly the room stopped, and it happened to be there was three guys waiting. There were, three guys in a chair, and there sat the guy in the middle looking at me going, what do you want? I'm like, well, I'm here for a haircut. And he goes, not in that outfit.
That sounds like my dad.
And that's when
listen, guys, I wasn't even allowed to own red growing up. Like if we had like something red, that'd be like, what are you wearing? They'll take that off. And we're not, I'm 6. You know what I mean? I didn't know, but it was ingrained in us from a very young age, and being around some of those older guys, when my brother played and they were like that, Coach Brooks was like that, Hefner was like, so we had a lot of guys kind of raised us this way. So I'm just a product of my environment, basically.
Well, let me ask you this. Number one, I love that. I love it on both sides.
Oh yeah, you won't find yellow shirts in Canton. I can tell you that right now.
So, but my question is let me kind of, because I know you've got some things to do, and give me real short answers here.
Okay.
Are they working hard?
Absolutely.
And getting ready?
Absolutely, they're killing it right now.
Okay, and the other, let everybody know the coaching staff.
Okay. Well, of course you got.
I think that because that's something that we didn't have time to deal with a lot this year.
Okay.
And we're going to from now on.
Of course, there's Coach Crompton at the helm. Then there's Coach Sluter, Coach Austin Sluter. He was our line coach. Oh, Coach Sluter's awesome. He's my recruit, by the way. I stole him from Reynolds and got him over here as fast as we could. He was actually part of the training staff when I played at App. And so we've known each other for a long time, and we both went into coaching. And I was like, man, as soon as if you ever want to come, to Haywood County, just let me know. And he called me up one day, and we got him here. So we got Austin Sluter. He does a great job. He teaches history, so he's an in-house guy.
You love my little videos about that on Fridays.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Well, that's him. That's him to a T. Then we have Zach Shepard. Zach is also an in-house guy.
Love him.
He's the head baseball coach. And
Love
he
him.
coaches wide receivers, and he's our signal guy. And Zach's really good at coming up with all the names, because like in Jonathan's offense, you have like 10,000 names for everything. And so Zach is the one that helps coach figure all that out. Him and Bridger Jones are responsible for half our signals. And then Zach Gibson is a new steel in-house guy. He teaches business. He was at Owen originally. We just got him here. He'll be on the offensive side of the ball. We have Coach Branson Reese. You guys know Branson.
Love Branson, and he's probably more black and yellow than you.
Guys, he's got a Tuscola tattoo. Trust me, he's through and through.
I love the guy.
He coaches the JV defense, and then you have Coach Leander Dumas. He coaches the D-line. He played at Western back in the 90s. Kids love him. He's real reserved, but when he speaks, people listen. Kids respond very well to him. We have Coach McCracken. He is also Houston. He coaches the running backs, and he's our wrestling coach. And then we have Derek Bradshaw. He coaches linebackers for the JVs, and he's in the box on Friday nights and helps me out.
Mr. Pizza. Every time I see him after a game, he's got a whole pizza.
Oh, well, Derek, I can't say anything because I don't miss any meals either. But Derek, he's going to get him that free piece of pizza. And so we don't have the biggest staff in the world, but we mesh well together. and we communicate well. We game plan well, I believe. So that's our staff. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody.
Let me ask you something. Who's staring at you in the face?
Y'all too, or me?
No, above you in your office. Who's standing there looking at you?
We got Jody Ward. He's our volleyball coach, and he's a custodian here. I got Zach Shepard, and then we got your son.
Tell them to come around and say hey, and I'll let you go.
All right. I'll just flip this around and let you see.
All right, because Jonathan is texting me bad
Y'all
things.
see?
We have to go to the weight room, so you got to
Take your finger off of there.
There we go.
All right, boys. So anyway, I know you guys got to go to work. Chuck, stay on. We're going to continue on for just a few minutes. Austin,
Thank you for having me.
Listen, we're going to make this a regular thing. Real quick before you go, what's the athletic schedule for the next week? So everybody
Next week,
knows.
we basically got nothing until Friday. We'll be home here against East Henderson, and then hopefully everybody comes out next Friday for senior night as well against Smoky Mountain.
Okay. All right, go get better because
Thanks,
somebody else might be out working you.
Well, I don't think so. See you guys.
Bye-bye. That was enjoyable, Chuck.
Yeah, it was.
That was enjoyable. Excuse me. That was enjoyable, Mr. Hall of Famer times 2. And again, when the folks that watched us last night, when we got off the air, Jonathan had been texting me. If you look at the replay of it, I keep looking at my phone because he's texting me and saying, "Will you two hurry? Will you two hurry? Get off the phone. Get off the show. Get off the show. I need to tell you two something." And then he FaceTimed us.
Right.
And Jonathan and I, that's one of the funniest things.
Hey, you caught me changing clothes.
That was so funny. I saw Jonathan's face. It was like,
I had to.
oh my God. That was one of the funnier things I've ever.
We're all men.
Oh, that's it, brother. Manly men. So anyway, that was good, and it's good to hear from the folks up there that are in the trenches and here on the Tuscola Football Network side of it. I think that's something that we're going to highlight. We're going to make sure that people know, and they have come a long way since April, because I think one of the things that you asked, Chuck, is you ask about the cohesiveness of the staff. And I mean, we can be honest here, right? That's what we talked about last night. And again, when I say that, when I talk about, the phone calls every once in a while, well, the phone calls did come to you and I because he felt like he didn't know who to talk to once when he started.
Right.
You know what I mean? And one of his things was, okay, so I've got this staff, and this is, and he bounced off and just, he didn't ask us. He just said, this is, I'm going to go in and we're going to talk to him individually. I'm not here to be your buddy, and this isn't a sugar-coated thing. And that's where he did use a lot of Belichick that he learned, a lot from Lane, and a lot from Coach Cutcliffe, and a lot of the folks that he was around, the Shanahans, where he just looked and said, "Hey, we're going to have open debate here, but this is the way it is going to be, and either you're on or you're off." And it's really, to me, and I hate to use the word because I don't want it to sound, but it has been a beautiful thing to see the bonding.
Right.
Because one of the things that you talked about was when you go into the staff meeting and you close that door, what's said in that room, and there's some really harsh and honest and open things that have to be said. I got the head guy has got to know that we're all on the same boat here. Now we're going to disagree and we're going to debate the heck out of it. And we're going to do that, but we're going to come out of here united. And to see that part transform, it has been amazing, because I think one of the things, Chuck, and I'll let you talk here in just a second, but I'm just kind of rambling on for us, is I remember early on, and I asked the question on Jonathan's show. So when adversity comes, how are you going to handle it? How do you guys as a staff and the players, how do you handle it? Well, they had some freaking adversity. And I think that, if you listen to Austin about 20 minutes ago, that's a heck of an answer about how they handle it. Because the ship was going in the same direction, but it was in bumpy seas. When, yeah.
My take on John Austin, and there were two Austin Chambers at Tuscola, and I eliminated the confusion by calling, the AD and the defensive coordinator John Austin, and I'll stick to that. Of course, now it's Coach Chambers, but when you hear there is a passion, and you hear it is not all a bed of roses when they're in behind closed doors. We've experienced it. There's passion, and you think you're right and you're making points, and those points get heated. But it's the tight-knit group that have trust in each other that can come out of that room. And when you go to the kids, it's the one idea. Whether John Austin makes wins the argument for that time, or the head coach says, boom, all right, I'm doing it this way. We're going to do it this way. I've heard enough. And then that ends the argument. But everybody goes to the kids with one, we're all in agreement. Whether you were in agreement or not, those are the things that are what tight-knit groups go through. I thought it would take a little longer with the unity of the coaching staff, but it was much shorter. It was within the season when he said that they drew the line. I think when they drew the line, all the coaches drew the line and said we're all on the same side. And I think that's the point in time where the coaching staff was bonded together.
I totally agree. And I think, and I go back and, and I'm ashamed of, I was really up, because still at the end of the day, I'm just a guy. And there were, when we gave up a lot of big plays there against Swain, and I'm trying to remember the couple of games after that we were the better football team but didn't win. And I remember texting you during the game. That was kind of just a dummy thing for me to do because I didn't have faith, and let me tell you something that I still call them, all of them, kids, but man, there was a lot of pressure on Austin.
Right.
The weight of the world was on Austin because here they are scoring all these points and, things just aren't happening. And you're sitting there going, well, I would do this and I would do that. You know what? I'm not paid to do that.
But David, that's why I said high
So
school coaching is the most difficult, because I will tell you on that staff, John Austin Chambers and Houston McCracken, if they were out there playing, nobody would score any points. Of course, they may not last in a game targeting and everything because they were vicious football players. I kid not.
I know.
Vicious football players and intense. And they would do what they had to do to shut down an opponent. But John Austin Chambers is not out there playing. He has to take that put that into the kids. Yep. And it's more important to put the fundamentals and then right from there. And the learning curve went from just kind of going flat, and then all of a sudden it just went up.
Well, and let me say this on the football side. I remember when they hired Jonathan, and these are things I'm talking about here that are really kind of nobody knows about. So they hired Jonathan, and he knew about a month before they could announce it, because there was, there's the school board, they were still going through the issues with, whatever was happening up there before they got there. And they couldn't say anything. But and I had known Austin, but I didn't know Austin because when he was playing, I was doing the daddy thing in Knoxville, and then on into the next level. So my mind was a million miles away. So he shows up down here, and he goes, "Hey, Mr. Crompton, how are you?" And I said, "I'm fine." And he goes, "Have you got a minute?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he just wanted, and I thought that's pretty cool. He wanted to just kind of assure me that they're all in, that he's all in. And I said, "Well, thank you, but that's you don't have to do that for me. But thank you so much." And then he spent a minute, and we just talked. We were just talking as we have become friends, and he was talking about the responsibilities that he had through his coaching thing, and that's the one thing where this was his. Even though he was the defensive coordinator before, they kind of never just threw the pan at him and said, "I trust you. This is yours." You see what I'm saying? Everything was always, and Jonathan went in there and got up on the board and he said, "This is the defense I want to run. I'm not going to tell you how to run it. Now, if there's things I disagree with, then we'll make adjustments, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to get you to great people. I'm going to get you where you're going to be able to go to spring ball at places. We're going to get you in front of greatness every day because I think you're a great coach and I think you're going to be unbelievable." But last year, Chuck, was the first time that he's ever been just go do this. So there was an adjustment period for him, and you saw his growth throughout the year in adjusting in game. You saw his growth. Again, like I said last night, I don't know. I hope they go 11-0 this year. They could go 0-11, but I know that they're going to work really hard, and that everything, the wins and losses I can't tell you about, but the other stuff, it's amazing to see. It's just amazing to see how this group is bonding, and adding this new coach last Monday is a big deal.
Right. Zach Gibson.
Absolutely. That is a big, big deal because it's done a couple of things. It has freed up Austin Sluter to go back officially, I guess, last week or this week to coach his natural position, right, which is the defensive backs. Well, and the new coach is one of the finer offensive line guys in Western North Carolina, and he's going
to handle the line.
Absolutely.
And here's where I'm at with this whole thing, and I believe the coaches are well aware of it. This past year was a learning, like I said, was a learning experience because you didn't know what you had in your kids and how they would respond in certain situations. And I think they were pleasantly surprised. But the reason why the offseason has been so successful is because they realized the honeymoon's over and that they are working to meet high expectations. They had no expectations going into the season last year because they didn't know each other and the players. And when you combine all that, you can get chaos and madness. But right now, they have high expectations for their team, and they're working extremely hard daily to get there. And the honeymoon, and they know the honeymoon's over, but you're coaching in a performance-based business. So it's a difficult job, and they're meeting the high expectations. I think it's whatever the season is, we don't know. You hope for the successful season, but I've learned this about Jonathan. We initially annoyed Jonathan, Coach Crompton, at the beginning of the year.
Was that not fun?
Well, I mean, it was fun because that's always what we did. We annoyed Jonathan no matter what he was doing. We'd question him when he was at West Henderson. What are you doing?
Yeah. And keep talking. I'm going to walk around at my desk, but keep talking. I'll be back in 10 seconds.
But the thing is that I've learned this from Coach Crompton, and that is when he tells you, I got this, believe him, because there's just no way around it. I got this. And so it never with fail. It was always that he would look at us off camera when we're about ready to go on, or we just got off, and he'd look at you or look at us and just look, I got this. And so I no longer offer, unless asked. If he asks a question, I'll answer him truthfully. But my final point, and the reason why I don't do that, as an old catcher, catchers are unique. They are no BS guys. He's got a catcher and a baseball coach and doing well, but he's got a catcher on the staff, and that is Shepard, Coach Shepard.
Great kid.
BS guys. I mean, it is the makeup of a catcher their whole entire life is that they'll tell you exactly what they think, and then whether you can handle it or not, it's the way it rolls. And so he's entrusted Zach, so you have Chambers, who was like a catcher on the bait. I mean, he was a former catcher too, but also a linebacker. Linebackers and catchers, if you combine them, you're going to get a max, out of your staff. And so I really think the addition of Zach Gibson as their offensive line coach is going to be a 10 because of his experience and that he feels comfortable being on Jonathan's staff. So there is another coach that they've added that fits the mold. It's not a learning curve with these people. He was a former Owen head coach and was spent some time, at least 1 year at Pisgah High School. So
I will tell you this: I think the toughest job in Western North Carolina, and it's even tougher than Madison, is now at Owen, because nothing is, all the stuff is gone, all the plants are gone. It's a lot of those kids are gone, a lot of those families are gone. That's a tough job.
Well, that may be a tough job, but
I think it helped him.
Well, I think, and I agree with that to some extent, but I think the toughest job lies in Western North Carolina, lies in Haywood County. The two football coaches.
Oh, that's a different tough.
Well, I mean,
I'm talking about just winning.
It's survival of the fittest. You're in the jungle. As an assistant coaches, you're in the jungle. And so
let me do this real quick. We got to do the plug to get money for the football program.
Got to
see this, folks. We need to get these things out here in the community. We need to get them sold so we can get this money and get it back to the football program. TFL, Tuscola for Life. TFL. Right. These are good-looking shirts. And they're quality shirts. So you need to text me, call me, come see me, so we can start putting more money back in the program to get that weight room even better. Because as soon as this batch is sold, Chuck, we've got sweatshirts that are coming. We got long sleeve tees. We got hats. We're going to work on some pullovers with the TFL. So we got a lot of that stuff. We got to start working on.
Yellow. Is that the proper?
As God is my witness, it's the proper yellow.
Okay.
Let me tell you what it's called, because now I have to. Let me find it. Where did it go? Yes, I don't know where it is up here, but yes, it is. I promise you, it's the proper yellow, because here we go. It is FFCD00. Is that Trey?
Yeah, that's Trey.
Good morning, Trey. Who is that back there too? Good morning, Trey.
He's a little shy right now.
Okay. But yes, it is the proper color, because the one thing that we have all been instructed to do from the head man, and I'm not talking about Jonathan, I'm talking about our fabulous principal, is we're going to use the proper color or you don't use it. And he and Jonathan in April of last year went out and went through the archives and the history, and that is the proper color. Even the color going across the screen right now, that with our names and all the stuff, that is actually the color of the Mountaineers.
Right.
So that's a great question. And I don't know. I love what we do. I love what they're building. I enjoy what you and I get to do.
Right.
But we'll get off and start our day. But let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Because when we come back on later this week, don't forget about Dave Clawson. I think that's a great discussion to have. I think that's a great discussion to have about how a guy like him is fitting in this new world of college football, which is to me is the Wild West and its chaos. But
I will have an opinion later in the week. I don't have. I'm thinking about it.
Any updates? Anything you want to get off your chest this morning? Because it's before everybody starts their day.
Well, we're about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting the love of baseball. I just love it.
Yeah,
I love college and Major League Baseball. So we're coming to baseball season.
Oh, I love it.
Excited about that. High school baseball around the corner. So
yeah, and hey, can I do a plug for Zach Shepard?
You better.
So here's the deal. When Jonathan got up there, he designed this coach's hat. This thing is people are, they're not readily available. And if you got one, and a lot of people want them, okay? And the baseball hat that they had, Jonathan was going, man, I don't know. And he was picking on Zach. Well, Zach goes back in his little room and goes to work. Look at the baseball hat. This is their new baseball hat. But I love what he did here. I love that. I love that is a good looking hat. And it is the Real Power Tee.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is based off of this. But what a good looking baseball hat. And yes, I am getting you one because I know you. But I love that. I love that right there. I just think that the heel on the back, I think, and the kids love it. The kids have bought into this. They've bought into that to what the T is. So it's pretty good. And I know that you'll as baseball comes, and we'll have Zach on here. We're going to talk baseball, and again, the basketball program was kind of the men's basketball program was kind of a disadvantage because this guy didn't even get he wasn't even the coach until October.
Right.
So, it is what it is, and I hate it for the seniors, but this guy is a good basketball coach with a great record that came in here and took this job that we didn't have a basketball coach.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, like Jonathan, when he walked in, he was 4 or 5 months behind. And this young man, when he took the reins of the basketball program, they were like 10 days from the first practice.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a work in progress, but it is work, and it's positive work. So anyway, you've got the number 1 ranked college preseason baseball team in the nation in Winston-Salem and Wake Forest. So you got great baseball down there.
Yeah, we'll see about being ranked number 1 coming out of the gate. We lost some pitchers that we've got to replace, but we do have a good catcher, and that's pretty much all you need, I guess. We got it. Oh
my God. You're not vain, are you?
Huh?
You're not vain about those catchers, are you?
No, we're in a fraternity. We shout out because nobody talks about the catchers, but you can't get good balls and strikes called for you if you don't have a good catcher framing it.
And for another day, once baseball starts, and we're going to do, we're up front, we're going to do our futures bet, and we're going to be pulling for the teams that we put a little money on every day. and we'll update everybody on that. But we're going to have a long debate about catchers once the season starts.
Oh, great!
And you and I have a major disagreement about the GOAT catcher.
The what?
The GOAT catcher. And I love Johnny Bench. He changed the way the game was played in catching the baseball. But I don't think he is the GOAT. But that's another debate. But I love to leave it where I leave you a little angry.
Okay.
So anyway, any more updates? Anything you want to talk about before we?
I think just winding it down. Both schools in Haywood County, because we do have listeners from the other side of the county that love to hear and disagree and comment and so forth. So, and we invite those. We invite those.
On. We love it.
Not we have the coaches show. That's all Tuscola, but the Dave and Chuck show, we love both sides of the county specifically, and we got two. I guess you could say we got two great coaching staffs that are busting it right now, and they both have the date circled. We all know what that means. So they're busting it, and it's going to make for, I think, good for the rivalry. See what happens when they meet on the sacred acre called the football field.
And real quick on answer, we've got all sizes in these shirts. I've got from XXX to small. So it just come get them. They're sitting right here. They're ready to go because we've got some questions people are asking about it. And the date is circled. I don't know what that date is, but whatever it is, it's circled. And we'll see what happens there. But I know that the funny part when getting back to the football thing is I send Jonathan and Austin in the mornings, those things that I send that nobody would want to know that the language used to wake everybody up with every day on those things. The one this morning was good, Chuck, because you were awake and you were waiting on it.
I own today.
And I sent one to Jonathan and Austin the other day. And apparently I struck a nerve. And I just said, they're 25. Cliff, they're 25. And again, the money is going to be used. I'm sorry, Chuck, I'm just answering some questions about the apparel. They're 25. The money's going to go to repay what pay for the shirts, and then the money's going to go for the rest to support the football program, because this is a different thing. It's going to be the weight room. It's going to be the multimedia stuff. It's going to be, for Chuck to, as we can't release our plans yet, but, Chuck's going to have to drive back and forth to Winston-Salem multiple times. And, we got to pay for some of that stuff. So, but it's all to a good cause. But anyway, I struck a nerve. Because, at the bottom of it, when I sent it, I said, you're probably getting out work today. It was a joke. They didn't take it as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Oh, man. So I guess, I upset some people. But have a good day. I'm glad things are going well. For everybody, 2024 is going to be a crazy year, but in our little world, in our little bubble here in Haywood County and here in the Waynesville end, let's get on the same rope. Let's pull together. Let's take care of our neighbors that are in need. Let's take care of our friends and family. And it's okay to disagree, but we'll hug at the end. And because you're going to see a whole lot of Chuck and I, and I'm excited. I'm excited. And the Hall of Famer, he's wearing his pullover from Alma College. Chuck, I'll see you. I'll talk to you in our group text today. And never forget that Brooks Robinson might be one of the top 10 players in the history of Major League Baseball, because defense counts too. Don't you roll your eye. Don't you dare. Don't you dare do that. Don't you dare.
Okay.
You feel bad. You know, Brooks.
Yeah, I feel
when I
bad.
say Brooks Robinson,
I'm hurting.
no, it's pride. It's pride.
All right.
And Billy Martin was a nut. I just need you to know that. He only managed there a couple of 3 years. And yes, y'all went to the playoffs, but the Swinging Ace kicked their butts.
That's
But
right.
Billy Martin was insane.
No argument.
I love it. Have
No
a great day, everybody. We're going to
All
get better. Come see me here at Crompton's Auto Mart. Got great deals before the tax season kicks in. Good credit, bad credit, no credit, don't care. Guys, we got to get these shirts moving so we can replenish and get that money to the football program. Got to get Chuck some gas to get his butt up over the mountain. Look at him. Poor Chuck, man. Look at him. All that sad look. He said, I need some gas. I got you covered.
All right, bud.
All right, have a great day, guys. Enjoy the day. Thank you. God bless.